hatches are contained by fire doors, which I control and will open if necessary. I've positioned charges throughout the ship and will set them off without hesitation.
Sir, I think you should push the button.
Look, how am I supposed to abandon the ship while it's moving?
The ship will stop in exactly 3 minutes. I give you 15 minutes to evacuate. Now sound the alarm. Or I'll burn her down.
For all of our villains in these movies, Dafoe here is kind of a non-violent guy for the most part. But what's with this 15 seconds? Like, can we give him at least 30? Why does it have to be like right now? Like, look, give the people some time to get off the boat, right? If he doesn't want them dead.
He's got jewels to snatch. He's got ski-doos to ride. Like, he's got no time. Get with it, right? He's a man of action.
I mean, 45 seconds, a minute. Like, let him get off the boat. Like, give it some time here. What's with this 15 seconds, 15 minutes?
He reminds me of the guy from Under Siege 2 in terms of computer hacking. I don't know, maybe it's a weakling villain, and we'll have to put him through the scale later. But you're right. Yeah, they probably should have given him a little bit more time. 15 seconds is kind of ridiculous.
It's a minute, yeah, 15 minutes. It's too much. It's too little. Too little.
Welcome back to the Last Row Podcast. We are continuing the summer of sequels, Bad Way.
Sequels, speed.
This is episode 137. If you are new to the show, we're in the middle of our summer of sequels. Check us out at thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on all the social channels, including X at The Last Row Pod. Are you calling it X, Bad Way? Are you calling it X?
I'm thrown off by the whole thing, and really, I don't like it. Whatever.
Follow us on Twitter, aka the artist formerly known as Twitter. Check us out at The Last Row Pod on all the social channels. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to a podcast. Download us, leave us a 5-star review. Thanks to everyone that left one so far. Welcome back, Bad Way. We're back again. I'm excited for this one. I have a lot of thoughts today.
Yeah, I'm excited, I suppose. We'll get into it. There's something to give us some take here. Speed 2 cruise control. Good colon, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, where do you rate that on the colon?
That's a high colon right there.
They wasted it on a boat. Does a boat have cruise control?
It's like, the boat's cruise, though, right? It's a cruise.
But it's a cruise control. There you go. Okay, I get it now. I get it.
He's controlling the cruise.
You got me. All right, that's genius.
It's a play on words.
All right, I'm going to give him more credit than I originally gave him credit for. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, right? I just blew your mind. June 13th, 1997. Runtime 2 hours, 6 minutes.
Way too long. Can I say that?
Too long.
We'll get into that.
This movie can't be 2 hours, 6 minutes.
It has no business being that long.
This is 140 tops. Come on. Action slasher romance. Was this a romance movie? No.
There was no romance. It was
a romance movie.
Wooden romance.
There was a smooch. That was it. There was a smooch.
The romance between the girl who had a crush on Jason Patrick.
Yeah. Directed by our boy, Jan de Bont, Drew.
He's back. He's back, guys.
Do you remember? All right. This guy directed 5 major motion pictures in his career. We've done now 3 of them. Do you remember the other 2?
I know Speed 1, of course.
Of course, Speed 1.
But I don't
second one.
remember. What is it? It wasn't Dante's Peak, was it?
Close. It was Twister.
Oh, Twister. That's right. Okay,
yeah,
that's great.
It was a disaster movie, right?
That's a great movie. Yeah. This is a disaster movie.
Should we complete the what's you know how like a 3 is a trifecta or a trilogy? Like what's a 5?
Quadrilogy?
A quadrilogy? No, that's 4.
That's quintilogy.
Quintilogy.
I think we should. It's the Summer of Jan.
So it's The Haunting in '99, which is a decent movie.
Is that the one with Liam Neeson, or is that the other one?
I don't know. I think it's with what's her name? The freaking Penelope Cruz? No, okay. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. I never saw that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Owen Wilson. Yep. And Bruce Dern.
All right.
And he also did Lara Croft Cradle Life. So,
I've seen that. I actually think that's not that bad of a movie.
Also written by Graham Yost. The only reason I brought up Graham Yost, I don't know if we spoke about this when talking about Speed 1. If I do, I apologize, but I'm going to bring it up again. This dude wrote 44 episodes of the series Hey Dude.
And then he did this and Speed 1?
Well, I mean, yes, it was to 91. And then and then 3 years later, he wrote Speed 1.
I'm blown away that Hey Dude actually had 44 episodes because
Right?
it seems like the kind of thing that you look back and you remember that there was so many, but it was actually only one season.
They just
when it got
replayed them so
canceled.
many times. Yeah.
I love that show, by the way. I thought it was great.
Yeah. So this guy wrote Hey Dude.
That's awesome.
Give it up for this guy. Right? All right.
That's awesome.
So anyway, back to things that matter, Like the IMDb rating, 3.9 out of 10.
Too high.
Rotten Tomato, 4%. Last week we had a 5.
This is too high. I'm sorry. It's too high.
It's about right, unfortunately.
It's too high.
It's about right. This movie's not very good, is it?
No.
Metacritic, 23%. And in parentheses, it says doesn't exist. No, I'm confused. I'll read it because I'm like Will Ferrell and Anchorman. You write it, I'll read it.
I just deleted it for you live right now. I forgot to take it out. I'm pretty sure it's 23.
23%. Letterboxd, 1.8 out of 5.
Too high.
I think it's about right. Like, it's bad, but I liked it. I like this movie. I don't think you liked it.
I don't know. I went back and forth on this thing. We'll talk about it. I'll save it. We'll talk about it.
Annie is looking forward to a Caribbean cruise with her cop boyfriend. Do you think it's weird that they say cop boyfriend?
Sounds like an insult, doesn't it?
Yeah, like you're going to
really.
single it out. Yeah. By the way, Annie is reprising her role as Sandra Bullock. Alex, who purchased the tickets to make up for lying about working on the SWAT team.
When I first read this, I thought it was the opposite. Like he was lying about not being on the SWAT team. I thought he was lying about being on the SWAT team.
Yeah, he said, I'm a big shot SWAT team member, and really he's just a cop on the beach.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, right.
I thought he was building himself up to be like a hot shot, and he wasn't. But it's the opposite of that. The way that's written is very confusing.
But he bought the tickets before he got busted for lying.
True.
If it was up to him, he never would have got caught lying.
True.
Anyways, their trip turns dangerous. However, when an explosion disables the ship's communication system and it becomes clear that the vessel is under someone else's control. The vessel. When I think of vessel, I think of like a being, right?
Yeah.
I don't think of the literal ship vessel.
A vessel.
Yeah, someone's vessel, like Vigo,
He is a vessel.
Yeah.
Like Oscar's a vessel for Vigo.
Yeah, I think of Vigo and Oscar. Alex and Annie must fight for survival as they discover that John Geiger, by the way, bad name.
I love it. I actually love
John Geiger? Get out of here. Geiger. A crazed passenger is behind the chaos. Crazed is a good word.
That is one way to put it, man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm already having fun. I'm having more fun doing this right now than watching this movie, and I don't say that very often on this show. I'll say that. All right,
the vessel.
Here's some vessels for some movie poster taglines. I'm pulling these, and I'll pull a Ron Burgundy, and I'll say this.
Yeah,
and this is hilarious that they put this as a tagline. But the first one is 2 thumbs up. He's just shaking his head, people. He's shaking his head.
Well, I get it though, because I like this movie. Like that was the first time I watched it. I kind of liked it.
2 thumbs up.
But if Siskel and Ebert liked it, and even if they objectively think it's bad and they want you to go see it because they had enjoyment from it, then maybe a thumb up is not so bad.
I'll say
such a bad thing
there. I'm pretty sure Roger Ebert, before he passed away, R.I.P., said that this is one of the movies that he frequently got called a hack movie critic for liking. So we can get into it later, but most people hated this movie. Well, and I don't like to hate on something. I'm going to try to keep it positive. I don't like to hate on something, but I do have some strong feelings, and I think the runtime is part of it.
Can I say something controversial?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think that most film critics are hacks. Right? It's inherently a hack based, profession. I feel,
especially now you have to call. I wish you could see his face right now, people. I wish you could see his face right now. All right. Well, we just insulted half our audience, probably.
Well, I mean, we're
hacks too.
We're hacks adjacent. I mean, we're not.
We're not
critiquing these movies, but we're certainly giving our opinions. But I don't know. No, you know what I mean, though.
I know what you're saying. You got to get a hot take.
If you're, you give an objective view of how you feel the film is, right?
I got you.
But to critique Speed 2, it's like it's it shouldn't be done because this movie isn't made to be critiqued. It's either let's watch the boat blow up or let's not. It's not about, is this a good film, right? Like, we're not asking that question.
No, and I don't think it's trying to be a good film. And I think these are the ones that you, as a critic, you're watching and you're probably just like, all right, I got to watch Speed 2 Cruise Control now. Like, I don't want to.
But you're taking it out of the movie because you're being forced to watch a movie that you know is not good. But
right.
The movie knows it's not good. But it's like
this movie doesn't know it's not.
It's
good.
Like a circle. It's like a circle jerk of like, this isn't good. We know it isn't good. Here it is. It'll entertain you. And the profession of film critic is to critique films. And here you are giving a grade for Speed 2 when it doesn't deserve a grade. It's gradeless.
I'll say this, and I am going to come back to this in a minute, but I think the issue that I have with this movie is it does take itself seriously. It thinks it is good, and I'm not. I don't know. I'll save it. We'll come back to it because I have some thoughts on that.
So, like we talk about a Rotten Tomato score of 4, and we talked about a Major League 2 last week being a Rotten Tomato score of 5. So all these people that are giving bad grades to Major League 2 and Speed 2 Cruise Control, I don't know. What do the opinions don't matter because
maybe they're upset that they spent so much money on it. Like, I don't know. I get it. You're right though. It is sort of hack adjacent in some ways because you have to take out your frustration on this thing, and but it shouldn't be done because no one's going into this thinking
it's like, of course, movie. Major League 2 isn't a good movie, quote unquote, but like nobody's going to see it to like watch, art. We're going to see it to laugh at Pedro Serrano and Tanaka, right?
You're not going to put it up there with Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
right. I get your point.
That can be critiqued. Yeah, Oppenheimer can be critiqued.
But I think there's a subset of people that probably just hate something that isn't a film. I hate that this exists. I hate entertainment. And I think there's good entertainment and there's bad entertainment, and somebody may love this movie. And I think I like a lot of bad movies, objectively bad movies. Like I like a lot of those movies, all of those action films and stuff from the 80s. Like I like those.
Yeah. It's there's major leagues and minor leagues and the farm system of baseball. We're in baseball season. We shouldn't be judging Major League 2 and Speed 2 and Batman and Robin alongside of, the great movies of the summer, right? There should be 2 categories. Like, is this movie better or worse than Batman and Robin? Is this movie better or worse than Con Air? Like, we could rate that against themselves. And of course, Con Air would receive a 10 out of 10, right? If you're ranking it in that lower tier, in the minor leagues of action movies of the summer, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it because there's entertainment and there's film. And like you said, there's minor league and major league. And I think with this, if it entertains you and something makes you feel either you're having a good time or you're enjoying what you're watching, then that's great. Like, I don't think someone should say, hey, you're an idiot because you like this movie. I personally didn't love this movie, but I'm okay if someone did like it. Like,
that's my main point.
Yeah.
That's my main point, is critiquing a piece of art, which I guess you could say this movie is, and all movies are. It's some form of art.
Yeah.
And it's the beauty's in the beholder is all I'm saying.
We're going to come back to this in a minute because I think there is a lot more that we can get into about what makes it maybe different than the first one, and that's how we can tackle it. But hang on for a second because I think we'll come back to that.
Sorry, I got sidetracked here with the taglines.
Listen, when it comes up, we gotta go. We gotta go into it because
we gotta get into it.
We gotta get into it because it was the perfect time to get into that. So I think it was a good thing. And you know what? Roger Ebert did give it 2 thumbs up, if I'm not mistaken. So that was literally on the poster. And I'm sure they would put that on there. Most people didn't, but they did.
Do you think that ever in his life, their lives, Siskel and Ebert were ever bought?
Ooh,
was there ever a time, or was it rampant, but it was like Hollywood's dirty secret, where you could buy Siskel and or Ebert to give one of your movies a thumb up?
I think now you could, because everybody's like an influencer. Yeah. But I think back then I don't know, maybe they had a little, maybe I would have been
so buyable. Man. If I were one of those 2, I'd have been like, yeah, just give me a little.
That would have been a bombshell. Like, could you imagine the
$10,000 just to put my thumb in the air, baby? Come on.
Could you imagine the controversy if that came out, that they were bought?
The Jackal, thumbs up, sure. Yeah, Batman and Robin, thumbs way up. Fun for the whole family.
But how much money would it take to do that? Because you can't. Oh, because then everything's thumbs up. Then everything's thumbs up. Do they have a sideways thumbs? I don't know if they did that.
I don't know. They should have. They should have.
Yeah, it's like a half score. So, all right, back to taglines. Rush Hour hits the water.
Man, Rush Hour was out after this? Before this?
I don't know. Maybe they're just talking about Rush Hour. Or is it
like Rush Hour? Oh, like
Rush Hour.
Okay. Oh, so it's like Rush Hour Speed. So
yeah.
I get it.
It wasn't a capital H, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't remember when that came out.
It's too confusing. Don't like it.
There you go. From the director of Speed and Twister.
That's
These
just
are really
facts.
good taglines.
That's just facts.
Like you got a fact for 2 thumbs up. Rush Hour hits the waters, maybe. Director of Speed and Twister. And then this one, 120 minutes of pure thrills. No, I would highly dispute
generic.
that.
Yeah.
Like, it's too long.
I guess we got to go Rush Hour hits the water, but and it's not its fault. The movie Rush Hour didn't exist before this, but like because it exists now, I'm confused.
I'm pretty sure that Rush Hour was, when was Rush Hour? It was
probably 90, probably right around this time.
98 it was.
Okay, next year.
Okay, so yeah, so they knew it was coming.
They do.
Budget, man. Now this is a really interesting one. So you talk about this. So somebody wrote this guy a check for $160 million. And just for reference, the first movie, Speed 1, which was, I think it was 94, if I'm not mistaken, right? 30 million. 30 million, and this was 160 million. The worldwide return on this thing was 164. So it was an absolute flop for what they spent. Yeah. And Speed 1 turned 161 on 30 million. And I hate to dive too deep into the financials, but like, did this look like $160 million movie outside of that last scene?
What studio wrote that check? Is this the Saudi backer from Vinny Chase from Entourage? That when he made Ian? Is that the guy who produced this movie?
I think, and the thing is, when I tell you the fact that like it's the same director, like when I saw this, I thought there's no way in hell this is the same director as the first one. There's no way it's the same people involved. Like, I get it. The first one was wildly successful. And they wanted to have Keanu Reeves in this. Like, that was the original plan. And he backed out and they changed it. And there's a whole bunch of stuff you could read about it. But $160 million is a lot of money to spend on this thing. And when they turn around, and look, I'm just going to say this out there. It won a Razzie for Worst Picture. Jan de Bont. It's Jan, right? It's Jan, not Jan. And then
who knows?
Worst Actress, Razzie Award, Sandra Bullock.
That's
worst Screen Couple, Sandra Bullock and Jason Patrick.
That's fair.
Worst Supporting Actor, which I highly dispute, Willem Dafoe.
That's
nominee.
A lie. That's a
lie. They were all nominated for these things, and then it won Worst Sequel or Remake. I didn't look up what it won against. Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, Worst Original Song.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I hate the Razzies.
Yeah.
I don't like it because, again, who are
critiquing
you?
It.
Who are you? It's like they're the same thing with the film critics. How dare you?
How dare you?
And you're going to put Sandra Bullock's name in your mouth?
I mean, she wasn't very good in this, but
I
don't blame her. Like, the screenplay was
she
not
didn't have
great.
anything to do.
True.
She was the biggest star in this movie, right?
That's fair.
Hands down. Bigger than Patrick, bigger than Dafoe at the time. And they gave her nothing to do except be like a wet blanket. She was like an amped up version of her like neurotic self from the first movie, but she like did less than she did in Speed 1.
She was one of the best parts of the first movie, and they really wasted her in this.
They made Jason Patrick the star of the movie, and that was the mistake.
He was, and look, I know it's the triumphant return of Jason Patrick from Lost Boys. I am not a Jason Patrick aficionado, right? Like, I know him from Lost Boys and I know him from Entourage and now this movie. But I don't even think that he was that bad in this. Like, none of them had anything to work with. So if you're going to give him a Razzie or a screenplay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
They can have it because they didn't give him anything to work with. And then, so I don't know how you feel about the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, but it also was
I'm not familiar with their work.
Well, here's an oddly specific award for you. Check this out. It was a 1997 nominee for a Stinker Award for, quote, worst screenplay for a film grossing more than 100 million using Hollywood math. And then it also was worst sense of direction, stop them before they direct again, Jan de Bont. Now, he went on and did another movie, right? Twister and all these other things. So, like, it was not so bad.
Now, Jan de Bont, co-wrote this movie, so he gets flack for that.
Yes.
And that's fair. I wouldn't call this a poorly directed movie.
No, it was directed well. Actually, it was directed well.
Yeah.
Maybe it was edited poorly, like in terms of they didn't make cut choices.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It was professionally made, put it that way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They used all that money.
They did. And
they definitely used it.
They definitely used it.
Oh, they used it.
I'll say this. I saw this on IMDb, and I think this is the problem with this movie.
Okay.
Jan de Bont had the idea for the film after having a recurring nightmare about a cruise ship crashing into an island.
Ooh.
You remember when we talk about an incident film?
Yes.
He wanted to make an incident film.
Okay. You see, okay, so, and that's the problem because our number one issue is the 2-hour time limit, right? I'm fine with movies being over 2 hours, but like not throwaway action movies, right? Like even the Van Dammes and the Seagal movies, let's get me out of here in 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
We're here to do a job. Let's do the job in 90 minutes, right?
90 or less.
Yeah. So he took this idea and made it the centerpiece of his movie, and he stuck it an hour 45 minutes in, right? And it's the reason why it had such a high budget, right? That had to have been the biggest money spender of the movie, other than the star power, which there was none besides Bullock. And we all know that women don't get paid very well, especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Bullock's price tag wasn't all that big. It's just a bad idea to focus your movie around one singular scene like that, and if it's not going to be iconic.
Well, that's the truth, right? Because as this movie was going on, and I think I texted you this as I was watching it, but it's like every 30 minutes I kept thinking like, okay, it's going to end now, right? It's going to end now. And it just kept going. And I think you could have done the boat crashing into an island as a premise, but he made the whole movie on the boat outside of the opening scene of her doing the driver's test and the motorcycle chase to kind of set up who they were.
And I liked that. I liked the beginning. So I feel like that was kind of necessary.
I do too. And I wish more of it was off the boat and maybe the second half was on the boat or something. Like they could have done more with that. And I feel like there was so many unnecessary things on the boat.
Yeah.
That it just felt really long. It felt like a slog, didn't it?
Here's the thing, right? So I liked the dynamic of their relationship. I liked the idea of she just found out that he's a liar. He's not a peaceful beach cop. He's actually just as nuts as Keanu Reeves, her previous boyfriend, who we learned that she broke up with. And he lied about it. And now here they are on this cruise. He's trying to make it better. And he's like thinking of proposing to her, which is absurd, but we'll get into that later. I like that kind of idea of like, this is our basis of the movie for starting this relationship, right? And then they, after like the initial like argument about it, it kind of was never explored again.
Right.
Like, had this movie been them side by side doing things together and also having their relationship clash or get stronger, they kind of went the opposite direction. They were both doing heroic things at different ends of the boat at different times, at all times.
That's true.
Right? Isn't that like, that's just the opposite of building your characters?
Yeah. It just felt really off. Like it felt really disjointed. And I just didn't have a flow to me because even the fact that it was on the boat, right? There was things that were happening on the boat that didn't really matter. Like they tried to make you feel something for this girl who was hearing impaired and she had this weird thing going on with Jason Patrick. Like how many times did they almost start and stop the boat? Like I just kept going and it just felt like it didn't. I'm trying not to bash it here. I swear I'm trying not to. No. It was odd. It just had a really weird flow.
You had the deaf girl getting trapped in the elevator, which took time. You have Dafoe doing like basically parlor tricks, like fake explosions and fake fires and locking doors that just took way too much time. He wasn't, and that's the thing. He wasn't a violent guy. He killed he killed one guy.
Pretty violently.
So like, I have a problem with that one.
Yeah.
We'll get into that when we build scale them. And then you have, like I said, Patrick and Bullock being heroes at different times, not on screen together. If you combined them to do their things together, we could have saved time there too. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is my theory, and I don't mean to paint Jason Patrick in a bad light because I don't know him at all. You would think I'm a big friend of Jason Patrick's, but blow your mind, I don't know him.
He's not on your speed dial.
Do you think he saw the script and felt a little outshined by Sandra Bullock and thought, wait a minute, I'm the action star of this movie. I don't want to be sharing screen time with Sandra Bullock. Give me my own action scenes.
I saw something before this that said he signed on thinking that there was certain rewrites that he wanted. And when he got in and started filming, it wasn't that way. So it certainly could have been.
That's what made me think about it when you brought that up to me. Is that maybe, I don't know, maybe he didn't like the shine, and maybe they gave him a little more screen time in the editing room.
That's possible
based on his concessions.
Well, I want to talk about Jack versus Alex in a minute, but before, maybe instead of doing that, let me ask you, would this movie have been better with Keanu Reeves? Assume that it was the exact same script, exact same plot. I mean, assuming, enough that they could say, hey, they're still together or something, right? Maybe they're on their honeymoon instead of it being like same scenes. Would it have been better? Could Keanu have saved this?
Yeah, they could have been like, they're broken up or they're on the outs and Keanu bought these tickets without her permission. Last ditch effort to save the relationship. She begrudgingly goes, right? Yeah, definitely. Just because of the history that's there, the nostalgia for the first movie, it feels like a continuation and not something new and tacked on.
Yeah, because I think even just that intro scene, you liked it. I liked it too. And I think what makes you like the first one so much, and I think the best part of the first one was the dynamic between all of the different characters. Because you had Jack, played by Keanu Reeves, and the relationship with Annie. You had the bus passengers, and I want to ask you, like, which one do you think is better? But you also had the Jeff Daniels character and the Jack relationship. Like, this just felt like a bunch of people doing different things. It didn't feel that there was any type of stakes outside of the relationship, and even the bad guy. Like, there was no connection. Like, you had Dennis Hopper, who knew the police. It just didn't feel. It felt like a guy had a nightmare about a boat crashing into an island.
That's exactly
and
what
decided,
it felt like.
like, hey, I want to make a movie about a boat crashing into an island. Like, and let me just put these characters.
We'll fill the rest later. Speed One had magic of like the passengers on the bus, as small as the roles they had, like freaking Cameron from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
You had the bus driver,
Corpse Hair.
Corpse Hair. A lot of those characters on that bus were like gave comic relief, which it needed, right? Let's make this ridiculous action movie. Let's put some laughs in here too. There were no. They tried to do some laughs with classic that guy Mike Haggerty, right? He's that guy's been in one episode of every TV show ever made. The guy with the bushy mustache.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, and a lot of jokes that didn't land. Versus having like legitimately good side characters, or even giving Jason Patrick a co-star, or not even a co-star. Like Kendra Bullock's obviously the co-star, but like one of the captains, one of the captain's crew, be like his guy on the side who's also funny, like a Steve Zahn type, right? Let's have that guy tell some jokes, like and be the funny sidekick guy. Not both of those crewmates were like super serious and kind of whiny, right?
Yeah.
I thought it brought the movie down.
I agree with you, and I'm going to probably pronounce his name wrong, but Tamira Morrison, he plays Boba Fett in the Star Wars prequels and the Book of Boba Fett and all the other Star Wars prequel type shows. Like, he was in this, and he's a good actor, but even him, they didn't really give him anything to work with. You had a bunch of the like ship crew guys. The captain died immediately. Like, you didn't really get to know him. And then they had like the photographer guy that was kind of hanging out with Jason Patrick for a minute, but you didn't get to know anybody. And it just felt like a bunch of different people were doing different things. And honestly, even Willem Dafoe was underused in this too. Like it felt very disjointed. And like, I don't know. I just think being on a boat was a bad choice in my opinion. Yeah. It just felt like it didn't make sense.
Yeah, they probably got to the boat hijacking too late, and that's what started. Yeah, that's why the movie feels slow.
Yeah, I kept thinking about this the whole time, and I thought of picking the boat. Like you've said this to me before. You said this before we recorded. It's the land, air, and sea thing. They already did land. They did the bus, and that was thrilling, right? There was a lot of thrills to that.
Sure.
I just feel like it's hard to make a boat exciting because it's not really that fast when you really think about it. If you're in a plane or something, the danger of that crashing is very high. And a boat sinking, I'm not saying it's not a tragic thing, but it happens a lot slower than a plane crash. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like, but maybe the plane's been done, so they said, "Hey, let's do a boat."
I there's two things. One, you're right, the plane has been done, and two, what's in the sky? You're just driving. You're driving through air, right? There's no obstacles.
True.
There's no imminent danger until it starts to nosedive, right? With the boat, it's like, oh no, we're sinking a little bit. Oh no, the propellers, we can't jump out. We'll get sucked in. Oh no, there's a boat another boat we're about to crash into, right? With the plane, there's nothing you can do outside of the plane, but there's something you can do outside of a bus and a boat.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I think it gives you more options, and you don't see many movies on like this type of a movie on a boat. So I like the idea of it on a boat. You're right. It is funny how it's kind of slow, but you can't really gauge speed that well on a plane either because you're not outside of it.
That's true.
So it feels like a cozy ride when they're going 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, and let's talk about the boat and just the premise of this thing. I don't know. Have you ever been on a boat? I mean, like a cruise ship?
No, I've been on a ferry, never been on a cruise.
I went on a cruise like probably over 10 years ago at this point. It wasn't like the biggest cruise, but it also was bigger than this boat. And do you think this boat was big enough? I think it should have been bigger.
I mean, what kind of part are you looking for?
This looked like a yacht to me. It didn't like when you look at the, I don't know, what is it? The Norwegian cruises, they got those gigantic boats. So like the Titanic
with
this was sort of
freaking Ferris wheels and roller coasters and stuff on it. Yeah.
Maybe there's too many people then, and they would have to have a $700 million budget if they did that.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like a smaller boat than what I would have expected.
Did you see that suite though?
It was pretty good.
That seemed like a big room for a cruise.
That
aren't those rooms typically very small?
Yes, and I'm telling you what, the inside of this boat that they showed you was not that boat. I mean, it literally wasn't. It was an LA soundstage, but like the inside of that boat was a lot bigger than what you would see. Boats are impressive when you go in some of these things. Like it's like a shopping mall in some of these things, but they had skeet shooting on this boat.
Yeah.
Now, did that shock you? Because it shocked me.
Yeah, that's because of the world we live in today, right? You're not going to have a gun and just hand it to some rando on a boat. You could back in 1997, not today.
Also, like just shooting things into the ocean and just polluting, like this.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
it's like them just golfing off the side of the boat, like whatever. Just
I'm sure they had drives. Why do you think Dafoe had the clubs? Like there was probably a driving range where you just hacking golf balls into the ocean. These poor whales. Gonna have to get Costanza out there to rip the ball out of the blowhole.
Yeah, because I kept wondering, like, why did he bring golf clubs with him? Because were they going to stop somewhere, or was he just going to be hacking them off?
I think they were going to an island. I assume there had to have been a golf course on that island. If not, then the clubs make no sense.
I just thought it was kind of odd, and I did like the skeet shooting in the fact that it came back around and he used the guns. Like that was a nice touch.
Before we forget about this, speaking of golf, did you like the touch of like when Jason Patrick was scoping out the scene when he first got on the boat, where he's like, this guy made a big stink about his clubs, but he's not even watching the golf tournament on TV right there.
Dude,
like, what is this? Like, what is this? Super Cop? Like
he sussed that out right away.
So like, does the guy have to watch the golf show to be a golf fan?
Hey, if you're an avid golfer, you don't got to turn away. You're a football fan. What if football is going on at the bar? You say you're a big football fan. You're not even looking at it. But I guess if it's like the Browns and the Bengals.
Why is it always Browns Bengals? Why is it always Browns Bengals?
I guess these days it's not so bad. But what's the worst game you could watch?
Some might say Cowboys Giants. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you
go. Giants Commanders, I think is the new one.
I always used to say Browns and Bengals, and I guess I'd watch the Bengals now. But back in the day, you would not want to watch that game.
Titans Colts. I don't know.
But you're right, though. I thought that it was a Super Cop, but he didn't earn any of it, did he? To you, like he just was really good at it, and
all he did was ride a motorcycle to me. What do I know about him?
I don't know. He's. I liked him in Lost Boys, but in this, I just feel like he didn't have much to work with, and it was rough.
Yeah, I don't know if how respected he is as an actor. Like he was okay to me. Like he does nothing special. I love this movie Sleepers. I love this movie Sleepers. But he's good at it, but he gets outshined by Kevin Bacon and Brad Pitt and De Niro. Billy Crudup's in it. Like
that's a big cast. That's a big cast.
It's like he's clearly the worst one. So,
it's like, how are you going to go against that?
I think there's a reason why this guy didn't go on to like be a mainstream action star.
I just know him from, like I said, from Lost Boys and from Entourage. And in Entourage, he plays sort of like an over serious action star. And I never really had exposure to him outside of that. And that's how I always think of Jason Patric when I see him.
I bet that role in that episode is just an extension of his real life personality where he was like in on the joke. He allowed himself to be made fun of in that way.
You would hope so, I guess. But I think the thing about the boat too, and we mentioned this earlier, is you said it a little bit. It's like, how can you go fast on this thing? I just felt like even when they were about to crash stuff, right? Like how fast are they really going? And they gave this excuse of they all had life jackets on, and it's like, oh my God, we're going to crash. And they're so far away from where they're going to crash. Like it just, and I looked this up, by the way, because I think you said, what is it? 17 knots. Well, how fast is that? Right.
Yeah.
Let me blow your mind right now. 17 knots is the equivalent of 19.5 miles per hour.
Now,
like, that's not that fast.
To be fair though, if you get into a car accident at 19, it's a pretty good collision. Now you take the tonnage of the boat. That's serious.
It's also a lot bigger though, and I feel like, look, I don't want to belittle an accident. An accident, I'm sure, is serious. But let's say you're on that thing and you have two choices. One, you're going to stand in the front of the boat like an idiot and crash into an oil tanker so it explodes. Yeah. So that was the other thing. They were talking about it exploding. So that's a series of dangers there. Or you go to the back and let the front, smash in. Or you put your life jacket on and you jump off the side.
Okay.
What do you do?
But they told you that you'll get sucked in by the propellers. Do you not believe that?
No, I don't believe it, because everyone else that they were bashing into, all these other people, did they all get sucked into the propellers? Jump off the side?
Yeah, they probably did. They just didn't want it. It's PG-13. They didn't want to show the blood. Okay, you on a cruise with the last wife, right?
Yeah.
This goes down. Boat gets hijacked. It's either this or it's Captain Phillips, whatever movie you want.
All right.
You're jumping off the side?
On that little boat? Yeah, I'm jumping off the side.
On that little boat. Look at this guy. This yacht isn't big enough for Drew.
No, I'm saying compared to like the kind you see on, you go look at the Carnival commercial where it's the Titanic. Yeah, I'm not jumping off of that.
Yeah, you're talking about stories. Yeah, you're not going to get injured doing a pencil off of the side, but you're not going to believe you're going to get sucked into I believe you get sucked into the propellers.
No, I'm not getting sucked into the propellers.
It's like when the bus driver told you don't stick your arm out, you'll lose your arm. Like, I believe that too.
If you jump in the front of it and it goes over you, maybe you'll get sucked into the propellers, or you jump
You'll get hit by it though. If you jump in the front, it'll hit you.
But if you go off the side, you really believe you're getting sucked into the propeller? They're not.
Yes.
No, it's not going to happen.
You know what you're doing right now? You're disrespecting the ocean. You don't realize that you're not jumping far off the side, and then the velocity in which you fall, you're going to go below the base of, I don't know what the hell the parts are called. You're going to drop below the base of the boat, right? Where the propeller is. And at that point, when you try to swim up, you're going to go up and also back towards the propeller. And your swim speed is not as fast as that way that propeller's sucking you.
So you would rather die on the boat and crash into an oil tanker than take your chance and jump off the side and hope that you have a life jacket. You're not going to the propeller.
Here's what you do. You brace for impact, and as the boat hits the tanker, hopefully the propeller stops because of damage, and then you jump. And then you jump. Yeah.
You wait. Or you wait till Jason Patric sticks a giant chain around the thing.
Yeah.
You're
disrespecting.
You know what they could have done? And that they would have written one line in there, and they could have done it, and then I would have not disrespected the ocean.
Yeah.
Hey, don't jump into the off the side of the boat. you're either going to get sucked into the propellers, and these are shark-infested waters. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm not going.
Okay. The sharks, you respect the sharks. You don't
I
respect
respect the
propellers.
sharks
Yeah.
because there was people swimming off the side, and when they were crashing into all those people in St. Martin,
Yeah.
those people were jumping off the sides. They were all getting crashed into. And I also have
Yeah.
another problem with that too, because during that whole part, all these people were jumping off, and everyone else is just hanging out in the water like no big deal. Like there's not a giant boat. I mean, it's a little boat, right? But it's not a gigantic boat
Yeah.
coming through. That's like standing on the side of the highway and a bunch of like 50 car pileup, and you just don't get out of the way. Like you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Come on now. I mean, come on.
I can't imagine a death worse than gasping for air while I'm getting chopped up by a propeller. So I'm not even going to test that. You tell me the propeller's going to get me, I'll believe you. I'm staying on the boat.
I don't believe it. I don't. And maybe I'm dead by it. I don't know, but I don't believe it. I'll take my chances. I'm jumping off the side.
Okay.
And as long as it's not 50 stories high, that boat, I think I would do it.
You know the saying, it's your funeral?
Yeah.
The casket's going to be closed, man, because there's going to be no body in there, buddy.
That's the headliner right there.
Yeah.
Let me cut it right now. Enough about the boat. What about Annie? I don't know where has she been since this last movie. I spent 45 minutes bashing this movie, and now I'm like, okay, let's talk about Annie.
It's fine. We know that she dated Keanu Reeves. What's his name? Jack
Traven, I believe.
Yeah. And he gave her pepper spray for her birthday, and she didn't like that. And and we talked about this in our Speed episode about would the relationship last. And I believe we were prophetic in saying that just because you think you fall in love because of a traumatic experience, that's a fleeting feeling.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened here. They broke up because she didn't like the wild Jack, right?
And she sort of went against it, and she was upset when Jason Patrick lied to her about being that cop, right? So you're right.
She told Jason Patrick's character, Alex, I last dated a renegade cop. I don't like that. I need a safer guy. So that's why. So this entire relationship is based on a lie.
If I'm not mistaken, we did speculate on that in our, I think it was episode 62. I'll put it in the show
62.
notes. 62. If you know, you know. But I believe that we did say that was not going to last, and it clearly didn't.
It did not.
It did not.
And other than that, like, what's there to say about Sandra Bullock's character? Like, first of all, America's sweetheart. She's
she's great.
Great. She's great at what she does in this movie, but they don't give her a lot to do. She does a couple heroic things. I wish they would have explored the relationship further. They didn't. So other than that, she's just like kind of here, but doing less than driving the bus in an emergency in one, right? They kind of wasted her. They wasted her. Yeah, they wasted her.
I think they tried to show you that she's quirky by doing the driver's test in the beginning, and that was her. And I don't know. I was talking to you about this recently, and I was actually talking to my dad about this today, and I was thinking about this. Two questions. One, like, I took my driver's test. It was a long time ago, right? And in the United States here, as we are in Pennsylvania, there was a protocol. You got to do parallel parking. You got to do all this other stuff. But like, as a driver's instructor, if you were a driver's instructor, how bad does a student need to be driving before you're like, I'm out, and they tell you to just get the heck out of here?
I think you can pull that trigger real quick.
Can you?
Pull over. I'm driving. You failed. Yeah.
This guy was
if
patient.
you're reckless, the second she changed lanes that swiftly,
that
would have been it. Pull over. You're done. Right. But on the other hand, imagine being a novice driver and you get caught in like a police chase situation where it's like,
what do? You
panic. You don't know, like, do I pull over? Do I get out of the way? How do I do this? Like, I understand that. That's gotta be rough. I was kind of waiting for her to like crash into the police brigade there.
Me too.
It didn't happen.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
I said this to you the other day too. Like, when we took our driver's test, I mean, I'm going to date myself here. Backup cameras weren't on cars. They didn't have all these sensors and things. Like, are you supposed to use the backup camera now, or do they fail you for using the backup camera? Like, because back in the day, right, you had to look behind you. Are you supposed to?
You can't fail a person for looking at the backup camera.
They have
a tool.
to, right?
It's a tool to use. It's like saying in the, I don't know, back before the rear view mirror was invented. Gonna put a piece of duct tape over the rear view mirror so they can't use it while they test? What are you gonna do?
They got to turn their head around every 5 seconds. Stick your head out the window.
You can't.
Backwards.
You can't deny technology. Even though I personally, I use the backup camera maybe like 25% of the time. I'll still look back because I don't trust it. I trust me.
I'm just the visual of somebody with duct tape on their roof.
All right, it's time for the test. It's like, he gets the duct tape out.
I remember, dude, I don't know if I told you this, but back in the day, I used to drive a 1986 Fiero GT.
Oh.
It was my dad's car that he had that he let me drive sometimes, right? The rear view mirror would fall off.
Oh, was it hanging? Oh,
it slid on, so you could slide it on and off. It was like a magnet on the window. But I remember driving one time and the thing fell off, and it's like, what do you do?
No, that's awesome. Like everyone has that. Like my first car did this. My first car did that. That's a good one. There was a point in time where my driver's side door didn't open. The handle broke, and I had to get in through the passenger side.
I knew a guy that had to get in through the trunk, through his hatch.
That's even worse. It's not easy though. It's not easy to cross that center console.
You know what though? I mean, tell me you appreciate your car more now because you did that. Like, sure. I know that's an old man thing to say, but honestly, like, you got to get through it so that you can appreciate what you have now.
All you kids out there that your parents bought you a BMW for your 16th birthday, it's like, good for you. I mean, if you have it, drive it, but I don't know, man. There's something special about those good old days with the beaters. Yeah.
I'm not going to go tell you to trade it in for a beater.
Yeah, like, no, please, by all means, drive your BMW, but like, must be nice.
There is something about appreciating what you had and like those old cars. Like I remember my light wouldn't pop up, so I had to get up and pop the hood and pop the light. I had to do it manually. It's all that kind of stuff. It's Anyway, we're gonna have a 2-hour episode on Speed 2 cruise control because of all these different tangents. So what about Alex Jason Patrick? What about him? Like, how long can you lie about being a beach cop before she finds out?
What about him? So the relationship has started off on a lie, a very big lie, a lie that he knows if he tells her the truth, he even admits it as much when she found out. What was I going to do? Blow it and tell you?
Violation or not?
Total violation. He knew that if he didn't lie, he wasn't going to get to date her, which for her should be an automatic dump.
But for him, it's worth the risk.
I guess. What's there to lose? What's there to lose, right? But really, if you start a relationship off on a lie that big, it's like she's going to find out eventually. You got to tell her. You got to tell her right away. I don't know. You can't just lie to somebody like that.
I think you got to tell her because you're going to find out. It's not like he's a secret agent like Harry Tasker. Like you said that earlier. He can hide it and say he's a computer salesman because he's in like the CIA essentially.
Yeah.
This guy's going to be on TV. He's an LAPD officer.
Look, he could even say, I'm a regular cop. Yes. Sometimes there are situations. He doesn't have to like say that his nickname is like Suicide Jack or whatever the heck is the guy called him after the chase. He could downplay how hardcore he goes, but he doesn't have to lie about who he is.
They purposefully tried to make him look super reckless compared to Keanu Reeves. Like some of the motorcycle moves that he was doing were outrageously reckless. And I think they were trying to be like, see this guy's even bigger badass than Jack Traven.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny. Like he was all gung-ho. He bought the tickets in advance of the lie. She didn't kind of want to go, but she went. And then when they got there, she was all about the boat and he was pissed off. It's like, dude, you have a lot of making up to do. You're lucky she went with you on this boat trip, considering the lie you just told, right?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but other than that, like, I feel like we've said it all about this movie as far as like the dynamics. We don't want to have to get into the details of it. You're either going to watch the movie or you're not. But the thing that hung me up is the ridiculousness of him bringing a wedding ring to this trip, right?
How long were they dating? Did they say?
It couldn't have been long. Like, I feel like it's definitely under a year and possibly under 6 months, right? But he just got caught in the largest of lies. He's the one thing that she was not looking for was a renegade cop after dating a renegade cop, right?
Well said.
So here's this trip that he's hoping to fix, right? And he's bringing a wedding ring? You have to make sure she's on board with the relationship before you pull out let's spend the rest of our lives together, right? Like, this is absurd.
what did they call him? Suicide Alex?
Yeah. I guess that's how he goes. He
living
goes
on the
100
edge.
miles an hour, all or nothing, right?
He's just living his life on the edge. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, I think it was certainly a reckless move for that too. And he kept thinking about doing it, then not doing it. Like, do you think he would have went through with it, or was he always going to back off unless it went south?
So he legitimately got sick as he was thinking about whipping that ring out, which, by the way, saved it because, not the right time, buddy. Not the right time.
I thought he got sick because he couldn't do it, and that's why he got sick.
I was wondering if it was boat or if it was nerves. Maybe it was both.
Yeah, it could be both.
Now that I think about it, maybe it was nerves.
It had to be because
more than the boat.
Because up in the morning, he was, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm skeet shooting. Like, he seemed like it didn't bother him at all. That's why I thought maybe it was like he was so nervous about it almost happening.
Yeah, you might be right there. But like, God, leave the wedding. But first you need to make sure that she's cool with going forward with this relationship. Then you wait a couple months. If she, is warm to you, then you can propose. Even then, it's a little early. But this guy's nuts. He is a renegade cop.
I definitely felt like it was early because of the way she reacted to when he almost asked her, and she's kind of like, "Well, we barely even know each other," and then they almost broke up. It's
exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
That's how you know
Forget
it's too
about
soon.
Let me ask you this, and please, we'll move on if this is too personal a question for you. But like the idea of like backing out of proposals, or so you got the ring in your possession and you're like, no, not today. Like, this happens a lot in movies. Did this happen to you?
No.
Did you ever have the ring in your pocket and were like, not today? And then you did it. Then you did it the next day.
I didn't. I knew exactly what I was going to do when I was going to do it. Like, I mean, I didn't. I had it in my possession, but not on me, thinking maybe I'll do it today. Like, I had it because I had to have it.
You knew that today was the day.
Right. Yeah. I picked a specific thing for it, and that's what I did.
And then that girl said no, and then your current wife, the next time with your current wife, she said yes, right?
As she's listening to this, right?
No, that didn't happen. I'm joking.
No, but you're right. I didn't have that.
I think about these types of situations a lot. Like, I wonder, like, these impossible percentage of how many times did this happen thing, how many percentage of proposals were thought of and audibled before they actually went through them. Like,
and it was like a good idea that it audibled, or
not just audible, but like you chickened out.
Oh,
not that you like decided to back out. Like, you chickened out. Like, you have the ring in your pocket. You're like, I got to propose to this girl. I love her. And then you just get nerves. And then you don't do it. Like, is it 10%? Is it 5%? Is it 50%?
It's probably a good amount, to be honest, because it is a nerve-wracking thing.
You just can't pull the trigger. You can't pull the trigger. You want to ask, she's probably going to say yes, but you just can't pull the trigger. You have the ring in your pocket. You're like, not today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it when we go to the sea. Well, when we're on the beach, we'll do it. I'll do it. And like, I wonder how many audibles are called percentage-wise.
If you don't ask, she can't say no. Now, look, me personally, like, you want to know that she's going to say yes. Like, I was not somebody that was going to on a whim propose. That's not my personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know there are people that do that, where it's like they either more thrilling, or it's their personality.
That's not the question, though. Like, it's not a matter of should you propose. Yeah. It's like, are you chickening out from proposing?
I mean, I got nervous. I'll tell you, I was nervous when I did it. Even though I felt like, okay, there's a pretty good chance she's gonna say yes here.
Probably gonna say yes. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. The nerves just got to you, but like, no, not you. But I bet there's a decent percentage out there.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Where it's like it takes 2 tries or 3 tries for the guy to like finally like go through with it.
It's crazy, man. I'll say, like, this guy, I thought he was a little of a loose cannon, like you said. He's a renegade cop, renegade proposer, because I don't think that he should have done that there.
But he packed it in, and he packed it in, and he was right. And then he sprung the question on her as they were getting away, when they were safe after the tragedy, right? Which, of course, she's going to say yes then, but like, ask her in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah,
she still want to go through with it when this guy's a nut job. She doesn't know this guy.
Well, she knew he knew it was traumatic, so that was the best chance of her saying yes, because it was a crazy moment. But he almost asked her before the fire alarm went off, and they had to. So that was another scenario. It was what, 3 times where he almost asked her?
I wrote this quote down, and they said it verbatim. Relationship based on extreme circumstances rarely work out. And that's the reason why Annie and Jack didn't work out, Keanu Reeves. it's the same situation here. Jason Patrick, his character is no better than Keanu Reeves.
No.
I don't know. Like, get out of here, guy.
The only thing that he has going for him is they didn't meet on a bus going 55 miles an hour. You know, he met her prior to the boat going 19.5 miles per hour.
He met her on the beach when he was filling in for his partner one time, and he lied to her. That's how their relationship started.
Which is worse, actually, than
you're
Jack.
A beach cop, so you don't like go on high speed chases? No, never. I'm just here all the time writing tickets. He's a liar.
What was that? What was that show on USA back in the day? Pacific Blue, where they
Blue?
were like bike cops or whatever.
Yeah, and then they got into some crazy shenanigans.
Yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure wasn't Mario Lopez on that show for like a hot minute.
Yes, he was. He was a bike cop.
It was that Baywatch, and then after 9 p.m. Silk Stockings.
Silk Stockings. What was the? I think it was like the Howard Stern spoof. Of Pacific Blue.
I forgot. I know what you're talking about.
Man.
I don't remember.
I can't think of it. It was like a Baywatch equivalent, and it was it's gonna drive me crazy. I can't think of it. Oh, Son of the Beach.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, that was an FX show, I think, right?
Was it FX? Probably.
I think it was FX. Man, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was a good show.
I will live and die by saying Baywatch is a good show. I liked that show back in the day. And I know we've said it on the show, but I won't get into it.
Got to do a rewatch. I think there's a Baywatch channel on like the Vizio network or something.
Man, you know what? We wanted to do a Boy Meets World podcast and we couldn't do it because the cast did it before us. We wanted to do a Saved by the Bell podcast. We couldn't do that because Zach Morris himself did it. Dude, unless Hasselhoff does it, maybe we should do a Baywatch podcast.
Or we could do a Hey Dude. We could do a
Hey Dude podcast. There you go. Let's talk about the man himself, John Geiger. I like the name. I know you didn't like it.
It's a bad villain name. Terrible.
Willem Dafoe's great, by the way. Let's just say, in everything that he's in, I'm a fan. Like, I am a huge fan of Willem Dafoe. But we got to put him through this scale.
Yeah.
If you're new to our show, we have 4 major categories: look and style, hideout or lair, plan, and henchman. And we put them all on an objective scale, 1 through 5, best out of 20. Let's see where he stands. John Geiger, look and style. What do you think?
First of all, I don't know how old this man is at all times. Like, he looks the same now as he does then. He probably looked like this when he was 12. Like, the same face, right?
He's 68 right now. So,
So he was, I don't know, what is this? 40? He was in his 40s.
Yeah.
During this movie, which is crazy.
It is. He looked kind of young, but maybe that's because he looks old now.
Yeah. Anyways, the best hair Willem Dafoe's ever had is this hair, right?
Was that his real hair or was that a wig?
I feel like it's his hair. He could do that.
He had a great haircut.
Yeah.
It was a great
It's almost like a Van Damme style, right?
It was.
Yeah. Where it was like borderline mullet, but not really.
He had nice layers.
Big points for the hair and just the facial features in general. We're doing that for looking style. Did you like his computer setup and like his mobile computer setup, which I think was cutting edge?
I thought it was pretty sweet, but I didn't understand why he needed to go through all of those hoops to like smuggle it into golf balls and golf bags. Like, he was so worried about his golf clubs, which actually ruined him because Jason Patrick, sniffed him out.
Yeah.
But I liked the gadgets. I thought it was interesting how he had like it was almost like a power glove where he was riding on his arm to like do different things on the boat.
He wasn't even looking at it. He knew like what to do. Like, imagine what the damage he could do with like touchscreen and tablets and stuff like that.
Man. He also had an intimate knowledge of the shipping system because he made it, right? But I like the 3D model that he had going at all times. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I don't know. He had a pea shooter of a gun. Not so we're talking accessories. The golf clubs, that's an accessory. As elaborate and unnecessary as they were, still cool, right?
Yeah.
Along with the golf balls, the smoke bomb golf balls or whatever the heck. And then he got his leeches,
Yeah. Was that an accessory or is that a henchman?
It could be a henchman because A, they're alive, and B, they help him survive.
They help him out, right?
Yeah. Because he had this copper disease or whatever from working on computers too much, right?
I guess that's what I'm dying of right now. I work on a computer all day.
Yeah, you're working on computers too much. He's got copper poisoning, Which we'll get into plan in a second, I'm willing to give this guy at least a 3, but I'm hesitant to go 4.
I want to go force so bad, but I can't do it because I feel like the hair is so good though.
Yeah.
And his faces are amazing.
But his computer setup was so cutting edge. Like maybe he does deserve a 4.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's go 4 because
4.
he knew the thing is he had the best tech. Like this is up there with Under Siege 2, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he had his plan sucks and we'll get into that, but he had the best tech. And the fact that you can call the leeches an accessory or a henchman. He had good outfits. He snuck in. He looked like the captain at one point.
Yes.
Like he had good disguises.
Yeah. Yep. He stole the captain's gear. And as you know, if you kill the captain, you become the captain. So that's common knowledge.
You got to kill one to be one.
He became the captain.
I say we go 4.
Let's go 4.
Let's do 4.
Let's go 4.
All right. So what about his hideout and his lair? Is it the boat?
I mean, it's his hideout, but he doesn't own the boat.
Yeah.
But I guess when he becomes captain, it becomes his boat.
It's his boat.
Yeah. But I don't want to give him full credit for it, right? He doesn't
doesn't
really have one. Like you can't call his room his hideout because he was all over the boat.
He could have had a better room too.
But because he like overtook it the way Jason takes Manhattan, the way he annexed the boat.
He took the boat.
I'm willing to bump him from a 1 to a 2.
If he didn't crash it into like whatever he wanted to crash it into, could he have just taken it to like his boat hangar or his garage? You know, like
he
just
could have
live on the boat.
it. Yeah, it's like a Grand Theft Auto when you like take a sweet car and you put it in your garage. It's now your car.
Just take it.
Just take it. Give it a spray and then like a different color, and then the cops will never know.
He should have done that. That would have been better.
Yeah.
I didn't think his room was that great.
No, I'll give him a 2 just because like he should get a 1, but I'll give him a 2 because he killed the captain and annexed the boat.
Yeah, I like that, and he knew enough about the boat. Like he knew the inner workings. He knew all the rooms.
By the way, the captain's death. I had a problem with the captain's death.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just turn around and go the other way? Because because Dafoe was swinging the light like a madman. And like he was just blocking the way of the captain. The captain could have just turned around and literally walked the other way, and he would have been safe.
Walk around him.
Yeah.
but like there's two. I feel so bad because I don't want to bash the movie anymore. Yeah. But there's logic like that doesn't make sense. And then he swung the light and like knocked him out. And then he was kind of hanging off the edge. Yeah. Like dangling himself. Like he could have just kind of got back up. Like it just could have been.
And by the way, like he wasn't dead when he hit impact water.
No.
You know what happened to him, Drew?
What?
He got sucked to the propellers.
I knew you were going to say it. But he didn't jump off willingly. He didn't do a pencil. He did a backflip.
Okay. So yeah, he was too close to the edge.
I feel like they were going 19.4 miles per hour, so they just kept driving past him. But
before we move on, I hate to I know we're going way over on this.
It's okay.
But I have no other place to bring this up. It's on my notes, and I wanted to bring this up because it really bothered me. Really, it belongs in look style. But when he took over the boat controls, right? And then the boat started shifting, things started falling, sealing, and the captain's deck or whatever, the food plate fell over. And then there was food in the keyboard. Yeah. Did that bother the hell out of you like it did me? I hated it so much when there's food in the keyboard.
It makes me so mad to see that. I was
enraged. I don't care what emergency you got going on. You got to pick that effing computer up, that keyboard up, and dump it. Get that food out of there, out of the between the G and the H. Get the food out.
And he's a tech guy. That should have offended him. Like he's a technology guy.
They showed it multiple times. They cut to that keyboard with the goddamn chicken inside between the D and the F, and like I wanted to just like go into my screen and dump the keyboard upside down to get that food out of there. Get the air spray can.
Spray this. You got this right. Get the sprayed air.
I wanted to get the air for him and get the food out of there. It bothered me to no end.
Yeah, I don't like to eat near my computer because I feel like I don't want that getting in my computer. I feel like I don't like it. And
get a breadcrumbs sandwiches. People that are eating sandwiches over their computers, just savages.
I felt like he was hanging out, and we didn't even talk about his accessories. All the kind of medications that he had. He had like 800 medications and things in his hideout. Later, he was always hanging out in the bathtub and all that stuff. I agree with you. That blasphemy against the keyboard offended me to no end.
I hated it.
I was
so
offended. So it's a good call out by you. Yeah. Okay, so we gave him a 4 for looking style, a 2 for his hideout layer. Now let's talk about his plan. You got to break this down.
Okay. So he decides to board this particular boat. Why? Because he developed the cruise control, cruise control that controls the ship. It's apparently it's cutting edge. Which of course this guy, all he does is cutting edge computer stuff. So this is from the Villains Wiki. This is exactly why he is doing this crime. Geiger once worked aboard the Seabourn Legend, a cruise ship whose autopilot system he designed himself. However, he was eventually laid off after he got sick from copper poisoning caused by exposure to the electromagnetic fields generated by the computers he constantly worked around. Seeking revenge, Geiger plans to destroy the cruise line in revenge for sacking his job. Now,
you know what this sounds like?
What's that?
This sounds like somebody had an idea about a recurring nightmare about a ship that crashed into an island and said, you know what, I want to make a movie about a boat crashing into an island.
Yeah. Why does this guy want to do it? I don't know. His copper poisoning. This guy works around computers too much.
Couldn't they have given him cancer or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Or I don't know. Maybe there was a partner maybe the captain stole his idea or something. Yes. I don't know. Disgruntled. Because that's kind of what happened with Under Siege 2.
Under Siege 2, yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't there some kind of he was too mad? His ideas were too radical.
Yes.
And he was too maniacal and they fired him. Yeah. He worked for the government or something. But yeah. But anyway, if he got fired for being sick because of all the job dangers, file a wrongful termination lawsuit.
Sue him.
Before you go on and crash a boat, right? Maybe he did. It didn't work. Maybe he filed a lawsuit and it didn't work.
I mean, he said they didn't care, but I think again, and look, I hate to say this, I like ridiculous movies and I like things that don't make any sense, but this didn't really. It just didn't make sense in a way that made sense. Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying?
I know what you mean, but I disagree with I love that this is his revenge. It's so ridiculous. It's so dumb. I like
it too, but you watch a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie or you watch a Schwarzenegger movie and they know it's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't think they were kind of I think Jan de Bont thought this was a great idea. And I think because of that, it's kind of what?
Yeah, I don't even know how to score this. I know you probably want to go low.
I don't. I actually want to go high on this guy.
I'm going at least 3 because I mean this is some top-notch revenge here. But it's like revenge on the boat itself.
Yes.
He doesn't want to kill anybody besides the captain. He's going out of his way to not injure people. He had Jason Patrick and Sandra Bullock stand to rights. He kind of let the ocean decide, if you will.
Well, he tried to kill him at a couple times, but
he left him in traps.
True.
But he could have just shot him in the head multiple times and he didn't.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Under Siege 2 guy, and he's kind of like a weakling, but I actually want to give this guy a 3 because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fair.
But I can kind of feel for him. If he is so wronged by this boating company or whatever, I kind of like that he's going out of it. So you don't think he was actually trying to kill anybody on purpose? You don't think so, right?
No.
Is that why he evacuated? Is that why?
As I said in the opener, the evacuation time is a little bit short. Let's make it 30 minutes, not 15.
Yeah.
All right. You can still do your murder plot, your boat crashing plot. Let's get the people out of here. Yeah, I don't think he wanted to harm anybody. And I think the captain probably was a wrong place, wrong time even. I feel
all right, I guess I got to kill this guy now. He saw me here.
Because he could have strong-armed the captain just as well as the crew members, right?
That's true. That's true.
I feel like it was wrong place, wrong time.
I feel like he didn't execute well, and the way that he died in the end was kind of pathetic, in my opinion, but he went out laughing. And I kind of like that too, because he was maniacal.
But and that's the other thing. According to his copper disease, he was on his way out anyway. So it's he just wanted to watch the boat burn.
What's worse, this or McGregor's? Is this a real illness? I'm sure copper poisoning and something's bad. But
I think I looked it up. I think it's called Weller's disease.
But it's not because of the computer.
I don't think you get it from computers. Yeah. So
I'm screwed.
It's it's legitimate copper in your body, the natural copper.
So maybe he thought that he got it from the computers, but he actually just had Weller's disease.
Yeah. Or what if he just a madman and he just likes put leeches on his body?
Yeah. I thought that was such a weird thing. We got to talk about the henchman here. He didn't really have any.
Yeah. Speaking of leeches and henchmen, are we giving him henchman credit, a 1-point bonus for the leeches?
I mean, I thought it was a nice accessory, but the leeches did help him, right? Because they said that they took the copper out, unless he just liked to put the leeches on him. And we don't even need to speculate where else.
I think he was saying that like the leeches was like a holistic approach, not really recommended by his doctors.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like, I don't know.
It's got the Steve Jobs approach.
Borderline placebo type thing. They're sucking out the bad, keeping the good.
Have you ever had a leech on you?
No, and I would love to never have that happen.
Same. Me too.
Yeah. That's like one of the worst things that could happen to me, I think.
I feel like he needs a 1 because like as cool as the leeches are, he doesn't really have anybody that helps him unless his computer's a henchman too. No.
I was surprised that he didn't have a man on the inside.
He should have. That's another miss by the movie.
Yeah.
Like they should have had another guy. Like, you know who would have been? The Scottish guy that was up on the bridge with them.
Yeah.
That guy should have been in on it with them. And they could have been wrongfully, terminated, or that guy could be treated poorly by the captain or something. And then they're in on it. That would have been better if there was a second guy. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
So
I'm good with a 1.
I think we got to go 1. Okay. So recap it here. He had a 4 for look and style, 2 for hideout layer, 3 for plan. And now we're going to give him a 1 for the henchman. So we're looking at a 10 out of 20.
Yep.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
For a non-violent villain, it's not bad at all.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this on the list here, and I actually do have a spreadsheet. I know I said that I would make one. I do have one, but I haven't published it. He's up there with Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin, Rachel Phelps from Major League One, Death from Final Destination, Billy Loomis from Scream, T-1000. Wow. I mean, it's good company here.
It's good company.
He's above Richie Madano, the General, Jim from Edward Scissorhands, and just right below Dusty Dinkelman and Koopa. So respectable.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about this movie without touching on this boat crash in the end, because they spent a quarter of the budget on this. So a quarter of the, what did I say, 160 million or something like that.
Was that 45-ish? 50,
yeah,
45,
on this final
45,
boat crash into St. Martin.
40 million.
40 million. It was, I believe it set a record for one of the largest and most expensive stunts ever filmed at that time in 1997.
Yes.
Why did they turn the boat the long way? Did you notice that? And did that bother you? You had Jason Patrick diving underwater to do this crazy turn, and he had to turn it 800 times instead of maybe 3 times to the left.
Yeah, if they would have gone left, maybe the tail would have scraped the front of the other boat. Yeah, but instead it's just screeching through. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there was a mountain there. I don't know. Who knows?
Was it a matter of he didn't know which way to turn it, so he just turned it that way?
Maybe. Yeah, he's not experienced. What does he know? He just turn it. He just knows to turn it.
The guy was telling him on the intercom, though.
Yeah, but when you're underwater, you get panicky, Do you think the guys upstairs were a little disappointed? Oh God, he's turning the wrong way. We can't go back now. So
why is he going right?
Yeah, let's just keep encouraging him because it's too late anyways.
I just thought it was kind of silly because he was turning that way, and then they celebrated, and then they went into the island anyway. And I said it before, so I won't harp on it before, but I thought it was kind of funny. This thing is barreling towards you, just a little bit by a little bit. People are diving off, but I just thought it was kind of crazy. Now I get that they said the tanker couldn't move. I understand that because it's going to take a while to start it up and move it. I get that.
Yeah.
But it just seemed weird that nobody else was jumping out of the way. Even these people on little catamarans and little boats.
I don't know. It's kind of like a thing where it's you see the boat coming at you and you're surely it's going to turn. It's not going to not turn. It's you're on the road. You trust people all right.
He's not going to hit me.
He's not going to hit me. He's going to stop, Or you're you're in the passenger seat and someone else is driving. And it's you would stop earlier, but you still trust that the driver, he's going to stop eventually. Right. These people thought that and they did not know that it was taken over by a madman. They didn't know it's not going to stop.
I know you said you wouldn't jump off the boat because you don't want to get sucked by the propeller.
Right, I agree.
But would you stand in the front like all those people are?
No,
you go to the back, right?
You gotta go to the back. You gotta go to the back. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I just thought it was kind of silly. But look, I liked this scene. I just felt like it took too long to get to.
Yeah, let's get to the scene at 140, right?
Yeah, exactly.
120 and end at 140.
My other favorite part of the end, I actually liked the part, and I don't remember if you remember this, where Jason Patrick used the harpoon grappling gun thing.
Oh yeah,
and then he reeled himself back in on the plane, and Willem Dafoe, winds up taking off anyway and basically dying in a plane crash.
Yeah.
That was my other favorite part.
So there you go. I mean, there's your land, air, and sea right there. He end up using air.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that scene didn't last 20 minutes.
Right.
They could have used more of chasing Dafoe.
Right.
Rather than worried about this damn boat turning.
That's the thing. And maybe the boat's just a boat fan, but he's like, I really like boats.
Yeah.
It's kind of like people that really like trains or like really like whatever, right? Like they're really into it. Like he must really love this boat.
Yeah, loves boats. Yeah.
Because there was just a little too much of the boat for me, when I really think about it, because there's a lot of missed opportunities. I really liked Willem Dafoe. I actually I didn't know that they had, did you see that contraption that they had with the Sea-Doos, the Kenny Powers Sea-Doos?
Oh,
where
yeah.
they were in like a boat where the two of them became like a two-seater and then she just disconnected it. I didn't know that existed.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know anything about the boating life or the ski-doo life. I've never been on any one of those types of things. I would do it. I've just never been.
I just thought, you're right. Like, you nailed it. They could have done more with the chasing. And I feel like they kind of wasted Willem Dafoe too, because he was doing the computer hacking and all of that stuff. And I really liked that. And then he kind of went off. And then him and Annie were just away while they were trying to do all of this boat stuff. Maybe they should have done more of cutting in between them, like of what was going on with Annie and Willem Dafoe. And then what Jason Patrick's doing on the boat, but it kind of felt really disconnected.
Yeah,
and I
they
think
lingered. They lingered.
It worked against it. So if we have to wrap this up, I mean, I don't know if I have to ask you this, but I have to ask you this, and we should be doing this. But Speed 1, Speed 2, Cruise Control, which is the better movie?
Well, yeah, definitely Speed 1. There's no doubt about it. But I can't say I didn't enjoy it. It was my first time watching it, and I'm glad I saw it. And I don't have to watch it again.
What was the movie that we did where you hated it going into it, and then by the end I turned you around on it?
Oh, that was the Geostorm, probably.
It was
Geostorm. Yeah.
I think I'm turning around on this movie now that we're talking about it.
You talk it through, and you're like, it wasn't so bad. It's just a little long, but we can't hold that against it too long.
I still think I would watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation over this, but I liked aspects of this. So, of all the movies that we've done so far, we've done National Treasure Book of Secrets. We've done I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. We've done Major League 2. And now we did Speed 2 Cruise Control. What has been your favorite sequel so far? Which is the best sequel of the ones that we've done?
Oh, Major League 2 is my favorite.
Same.
Best has been National Treasure 2.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we'll see, right?
What's coming up next week?
We got a couple heavy hitters coming up, guys. So we'll be back on Thursday, September 7th with Child's Play 2.
Yes.
And then on September 21st, the whole movie that started this whole thing, Badway said, hey, we should do a summer of sequels because I want to watch RoboCop 2. So we got that on September 21st. So I'm looking forward to these two movies. I haven't seen Child's Play 2 in forever.
Oh, man. It's people call it the best one. I don't know if I'll say that, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll say my thoughts.
It's a great movie.
I love it. I love it, but I don't know if I'm willing to call it the best one.
I'm curious if you guys liked how we're doing this. I mean, we were just talking before we recorded that we've been having fun with a schedule. I know we've been loose with a lot of the movies that we do, but we published, these, 5-6 movies well ahead of time. If you guys are enjoying it or you want us to do more of this stuff, send us an email, thelastrowpodcast@gmail.com. Leave a comment on this episode's page. Check us out on all the social channels. Leave a comment on the Instagram post, wherever you are listening or checking us out. Let us know if you like this stuff or if there's other movies that you want us to check out. And if you're enjoying the show, please consider subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Leave us some comments. And thanks to everybody that took the time and left a review. We really appreciate it. Hoping to get, I don't know, we did the split before. We'll see what we do if we get to like 100 views. We'll have to figure out something fun, but we'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, September 7th. And on that note, we'll see you guys then.
See you. Old school listeners of the show might remember thegoldencloset.com.
Yeah.
If that site were still open, I don't know if it is or not, but I wonder if Jason Patrick's California button-down shirt, who's wearing on day one of the cruise, is available for purchase, and I would love to spend $180 on it.
Do you think he keeps that? Like, did he get to keep it as a prop, or did it just like go back into the Hollywood wardrobe?
Like, honestly, it looks like something that The Rock would have worn in Ring during his ridiculous shirt phase of his WWF run.
I would I'd be willing to pay some money for that shirt. I
Just
would like that.
the giant state of California down the center with like the Golden Gate Bridge and the Hollywood Hills. It looks like something that like that website Roosevelt's? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It looks like a joke shirt like that.
What about when we were at the mall the other day and I wanted to buy that shirt that looked like a Dixie cup or whatever it was, or like the Max? You're like that dude. You can't wear that shirt. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I had to veto it.
You're like, you
Good.
could buy it, but
Yeah.
I will make fun of you.
Yeah.
It looked like 1992. If you think about 1992, that's what that shirt looked like.
Just think about shapes
And like little lines.
and lines, squiggles. Yeah.
I wish I bought that shirt.